We've got an update coming out today inside of Arc Raiders, taking care of a pretty good chunk of some bugs, especially some of the more well-known and more heavily exploited bugs. But on top of that, there's also a bit of some content that came into the game. You'll notice in the background, we've got some Stella Montis footage. But it's not just your regular, average, everyday Stella Montis. It is, in fact, a night raid on Stella Montis. Pretty interesting that they've added in some map conditions over to this map. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments. But let's go ahead and dive into these bug fixes here, starting off with probably the biggest one, which is the exploit where people were breaking into locked doors. They say that mitigation mechanisms have been added for all locked rooms across all maps. So hopefully people are going to have a harder, if not impossible time breaking into these doors for absolutely free. But on top of that, they also fixed the gun exploit that allowed you to shoot quicker than intended by swapping to a quick use item and then back. This was most notoriously used with the shotgun, but it also worked for several things. For example, going from a Pharaoh to a kettle or a stitcher, you could use the same mechanism to kind of get the same results, that quick swap to quick fire method, and that should be all taken care of, which is definitely nice to see. Moving on though, they made it to where the exterior access to Spaceport's control tower locked room has been blocked off. They also fixed an issue that sometimes causes low resolution textures inside of the main menu. They also fixed players being able to push each other by jumping on each other's backs. This was another thing that players were doing to break into doors, obviously, but they kind of went a step beyond that and made it to where you just should no longer be able to push each other by jumping on the back. Moving on though, they fixed lighting artifacts that would sometimes occur when you were entering the map. And then finally, to round this whole thing off here, they made it to where Raider voices now correctly respect the selected voice option after restarting the game. Overall, it's good to see these bug fixes get pumped into the game at a fairly consistent basis, and to be honest, during the live stream tonight, which these happen live right here on YouTube as well as Twitch, I'll have a link to the Twitch down in the description if you're interested, but during that live stream, not only was I surprised to see the patch, but I was surprised that the patch came with some extra content in these night raids inside of Stella Montis. Let me know if you guys have been diving into these at all, or if you're avoiding the Stella Montis map entirely. A bit of a bug that didn't get addressed there is the one that's going on Stella Montis. So either way though, if you made it this far, made it down below so I can give you an extra shout out. Hit that like button on your way out of here. But other than that, I hope you guys all have an amazing day. I'm out.